Bueno,
for,
aquí están
for
los
James
hechos
Penn.
para
I
James
grew up
Penn.
in North Carolina,
Nací
in the
en North
United
Carolina,
States,
Carolina del Norte, en los Estados Unidos.
and my daughter, as my daughter walks in, sometime that happens.
Mi hija
Hey,
entró en
close
este
my
momento.
door, please, love. Go get mommy. Okay. That tends to happen sometimes when you work from
Esas
home, but
cosas que
it's so
suceden cuando trabajas desde
interesting
casa,
when it
pero bueno,
happened. Didn't plan it, of course,
es
but
muy interesante
sometimes
cuando
people
te suceden
complain
estas cosas,
about
porque
the
muchas
life
veces la
that they
gente
used to pray for.
se
Sometimes people
quejan
complain
por la
about the
vida
life they
que
prayed for. You
están
know, I used to always
llevando,
want to
suelen
have a life where I
rezar
could work from home and have
por
my family at home
esa,
and my children
por esa vida que quisieran tener. Y yo
get
la
a
verdad me
chance
siento muy
to be
afortunada de tener la
around them on a
posibilidad de
daily
estar aquí,
basis.
trabajando todo el día en
So, you
casa,
know,
estar rodeado de mi
sometimes those things
familia,
happen. Your children will
tener
walk
esa
in and
motivación aquí
interrupt you,
conmigo.
while you're working. And
Porque, por
instead of
ejemplo, a
complaining
veces
about
vienen
things
y te
like that,
interrumpen.
I have to
Hay muchas
remember that
personas que
I used to pray
se quejan
that I
de
could
eso,
work from home,
pero
that I
quiero
could be around my
recordarles
children. And
que
even
la
going
verdad es
back
que
to
es una
when I
suerte.
grew up
Es una
in
suerte que
this
nosotros
home right
podemos
here, this
trabajar
is the
desde casa
house that
y
I
tener
grew up
estas
in.
situaciones. Miren, esta es la casa donde yo nací.
That, as you can see, obviously,
Como ustedes
isn't in
pueden
great
ver,
condition.
obviamente, no está en grandes
This is what it looks
condiciones.
like today, but it wasn't too much
Así es
better
como
even
se
when I was a
ve
child.
ahora. Era un poco mejor cuando yo era un chico.
My room was up in the attic. And there
Mi
was an attic
habitación,
that
de
was
hecho, estaba en
converted
el ático.
into 2 additional rooms for me and my sister.
Teníamos 2 habitaciones en el ático para mí y mi hermana.
We had our electricity would be cut off from time to time. It was a gas heat
Y hubo
house.
momentos en los que
we ran out of
incluso
oil. There was a
nos
big tank in the
cortaban la
back of the
luz,
house
servicios de la
where
luz, y
an
cuando
oil
hacía
truck would come in
frío,
the winter and you would
pues
pay and they would fill the oil truck up.
no
or
se
however much
sentía
you
en el
paid for. We
sistema de
never filled it up.
calefacción.
We could never afford to fill it up.
Entonces, a veces
we would
no
pay for
lográbamos
oil,
poder
and
pagar
it
por
was
eso,
oil heat to keep the
y
house. And so I would
pagábamos
have to walk out of
un
the side
calentador
door.
de,
You can see the door on the side of the house. I'd have to walk out at about 5:30 in the morning, and I would walk around back, and there was a crawl space underneath the house. And I have to go down underneath the house.
acomodarme bien en la
And there was a
casa,
little
buscar el
pilot
lugar
light
para
that I had to turn on every
poder
morning to heat the
sentir
house.
mejor la
And that's if
calefacción.
we had oil
Y
in the
si
tank. If not,
contábamos realmente con ese
there was
aceite
a
en el tanque,
store
pues
about a mile
podíamos
up the road.
encenderlo.
And
Pero si no,
I would take 2 containers, like gas containers, and I would take it up to the store about a mile up the road, and I could get kerosene. And we had a small kerosene heater.
Como una especie de contenedores,
if we didn't have enough to have oil for the big tank at the back of the house, I would walk up a mile up the street, get some kerosene, and bring it back. And we have one kerosene heater, one little space heater, and it would be that heater, 2-story house, one kerosene heater, and sometimes that heater would even double as a stove if the electricity also was cut off. So we would be eating canned foods, warmed up on this. This was the facts of my upbringing. This was the facts of, I grew up on government assistance. I grew up on food support. I grew up in this type of housing situation. I grew up with parents that didn't graduate from college. And even in this environment, I did not realize, I didn't realize how poor I was. It's interesting, however you grew up, you think that's average. I thought this was average because everybody I knew grew up like this. The neighborhood I was around, all of the people I was around, the other kids in the neighborhood. I didn't realize that I was poor until I went to university later in life. And I saw other people and I said, oh, everybody doesn't have their utilities cut off from time to time. I met people, I said, you never had any utility in your house cut off? I thought that was amazing. Like not even your phone. Your phone's never been disconnected.
Y eso era espectacular. Conocer gente que ni siquiera les cortaban los servicios y me empecé a dar cuenta
like everybody was brought up.
Que
I have all of the same opportunities, and I know some people may be looking at this and you may have grown up in even more challenging circumstances.
Y sí, sé que muchos atravesamos por estas situaciones que tenemos muchos retos, ya pueden ser retos económicos.
You may have not had financial challenges growing up, but those aren't the only type of challenges. Some of you all, your parents financially provided a great environment for you, but maybe there were some other things that were missing in your life. So I don't want to assume that just because you didn't have financial challenges, you didn't have challenges. I'm aware of that, but So often we look at the facts of our situation where,
quiero que pensemos que no solamente son, digamos, necesidades económicas de las que estoy hablando, retos
I never
económicos.
had anybody to show me attention and love. Or some people said, well,
por ejemplo, hay
I
personas
didn't come from
que
having
les
money or
falta,
understanding money. These are just the facts.
una
I didn't
familia
have the
donde
best
se
education. I didn't have the best
más amor,
opportunities. And these are the facts of the
de pronto una
situation.
familia donde
And
no
they use
tuvieron
those
la
facts
educación que
as an
desearían.
excuse to not go out there
Pero el
and
tema
win.
es que si
They use
tú usas
those
esos
facts
hechos
as
como
an
una
excuse
excusa,
as to
no
why
vas a
they
salir de
can't
ahí.
design the life that they want. They're looking at
Esa
the
es la
facts of
razón
their
por la cual te
education.
quedas
They
en
look at
ese
the
tipo
facts
de
of
vida.
their current financial situation. They look at the facts of their upbringing. They look at the facts of their association.
Porque
Oh, well, the
están
reason you're winning is
los
because
hechos.
look at your network. Look at if I
Están
I don't know the
los
type of
hechos
people that you know. I've heard these type of excuses. Maybe you all have heard some
Yo
of
he
these excuses.
escuchado este tipo de
And if you're
excusas
honest,
muchísimas veces.
you'll admit that maybe you've used some of these
Y si
excuses.
tú eres
Well, the reason that
honesto,
person's
tú
winning is
admitirías en
because
este
they
momento
have
que
more
tú
influence.
mismo
They have
estás
more
emitiendo
of a
ese tipo de
network.
excusas.
And using it as an excuse as to why you can't do it versus
Por eso
saying,
que
well,
no
how
puedes
did they get that
hacerlo.
network? How did they get that influence? They weren't born with that network.
En lugar de
of people.
estarte
They weren't
preguntando,
born
oye,
with that influence.
¿cómo llegué a este entorno?
So,
¿Cómo es que se ha creado
again,
este
if the dream
contexto?
is big enough, the facts don't count.
Entonces, si el sueño es realmente grande, los
The
hechos
fact
no
that I
van
grew
a
up here, it
importar.
doesn't count if I have a big enough dream. And remember dreaming as a child.
Yo
When you were a
recuerdo
child, even if
cuando
you grew up in this
soñaba
type
cuando niño.
of situation, I
Si tú eres
know
un
I had
niño
the dreams of
que
living an
creces
amazing
incluso en
lifestyle.
estas situaciones,
Nobody as a child says, I can't wait to grow up one day and be average. I can't wait when I grow up and I'm going to be mediocre.
no piensas como, yo no veo
Even
la
if
hora de
you grew up in
crecer y
poverty,
salir de todo esto.
even if you grew up
Incluso
in
si tú
poverty,
crees en
you have the dream that, you know what,
pobreza,
I'm going to grow up,
tú
when I'm an adult, I'm going to be the president. I'm going to be a
cuando,
doctor. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be
nazca, cuando yo crezca,
professional
voy a
athlete.
ser
I'm going to be an
presidente, voy a
actress. I'm going to be a singer.
actriz, voy a ser
You wanted to do
cantante.
something great.
Tú
And at some
siempre
point
sueñas de
along the way,
pequeñito
you stop
en ser algo
dreaming.
grande.
Life beats you down. See, as a
Pero en
child,
algún
we
momento de la vida tú empiezas a dejar de
encourage
soñar.
them to dream.
Empiezas a dejar de desear eso
And you
que
can do
tanto
what you want
quieres.
to do. You can be whatever you want to be. And at some point along the journey,
Y créeme
it
que tú
turns
puedes
into,
hacer lo
hey,
que tú
well, you got to
desees.
be more
Tú puedes hacer
realistic.
lo que te propongas.
You got to be more realistic.
Pero tienes que
you
ser
can
más
start
realista.
seeing opportunities as you're older and you're
Tienes que
wanting to
empezar
dream.
a ver
You see an opportunity like this, and in the presentation, it shows
oportunidades.
the opportunity to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, 7 figures a month.
Te están
And you're
mostrando
dreaming, man, what would that be
oportunidades
like? But
donde
something
tú
inside says, come
podrías
on, that's
ganar
not even realistic.
cientos de
And
miles de
that
dólares,
something inside speaking to you
donde tú
comes from the
puedes cambiar.
outside.
Pero algo dentro de
That,
ti
I don't know,
está
somewhere around
preguntando
13, 14,
de
15,
que
17,
eso
18,
no es
20 years
posible.
old, you was
Algo ahí
told
no
to start
está
being
bien.
realistic. Whereas a child, you were told to dream. But
Cuando
as you get older,
eres chiquito,
it's don't dream.
te decían sueña,
it's given to
sueña
you
mucho. Y cuando
as be
creces te dicen ser
realistic.
realista.
And again, I'm here to tell you that if your dream is
Nuevamente
big
estoy
enough,
aquí
the
para
facts don't
decirte que
count.
si tu sueño es
And so
suficientemente grande, los hechos
I
no van a
learned this
importar.
principle being around and introduced to the network marketing profession.
Chicos, yo
As a
aprendí
matter of
este
fact,
principio
this was my very first ever network marketing event.
por
Back in
estar trabajando en
2006,
compañías de
January
network
2006,
marketing. Mire, esta fue
I
mi
was up
primera
in
compañía
the cheap seats
a
of
la
an
que yo
arena, the
me
back
uní
arena at a
de
network
network
marketing
marketing.
event, my very first network marketing event.
El
And it's
primero
so
de todos los
appropriate
network
that
marketing que
the
yo
name
hice.
of that network marketing event was Dream Night. The focus and the theme of it was
el
just
nombre
about
de ese
dreaming
evento
bigger.
de network
I'm
marketing se
encouraging you to dream
llamaba
much
Noche
bigger,
de
much
Sueños.
faster. And so when I went to this event, and this
Y me
is me
ayudó
and my wife, you
muchísimo
know, I
cuando
have
yo
a
fui
cheap
a este
polyester suit
evento.
on.
Este soy
You know,
yo,
this is
mi
our team at
esposa
the time. All right?
y
Two
dos
other
socios. Ese
people
era nuestro equipo
that we had
en
with
ese
us at
momento.
this event.
Dos
And,
personas que pudimos llevar a este
and we
evento.
caught a dream. We saw the lifestyle of what the leaders down on the stage were able to do. We saw the homes they had and the type of places they were able to go travel, the type of lifestyle they provided for their kids. And this is before I had any children. Mark didn't have any children yet, but we knew we wanted children one day. And we wanted to design a life where they didn't have to wake up every single day and watch mommy and daddy go off to work. They have to wake up every single day and see us leave the house somewhere, and we put them in the care of someone else for the majority of the day, 8 to 10 hours. They're in daycare.
a trabajar 10 horas al día.
If somebody else chooses to do daycare for their children, that's fine. But for us, we knew we wanted to do something. We had a dream to do something to prepare ourselves where we could at least have the choice. We had the option to not do that. See, I married my wife because I love her and I wanted to spend time with her. Not because I want to wake up every single morning and I go in one direction for 8 to 10 hours and she wakes up and goes in another direction for 8 or 10 hours and we spend most of the day around other people, only to be exhausted to come home and try to give each other the rest of what we had after being exhausted. Now, the facts of the matter is that was our reality at the time. The facts of the matter is we were both working jobs that we didn't like. But hear me though, that we were grateful for, that we were appreciative of. We still had an attitude of what gratitude, even though it wasn't where we wanted to be. Because if you get so disgruntled to the point of bitterness, it'll rot you and eat you up inside, and that's not a productive place or a productive state to be in. So the facts of the matter were, I grew up in that home that you saw, but I did everything they taught you to do. I went to university. I got into debt up to my eyeballs, and I'm short, and there's still a lot of debt. And after going to school and getting good grades and going to university, I ended up working in a job that only paid $10 an hour. Only paid $10 an hour with a 4-year university degree and student loan debt. And in this picture, we didn't know how we were going to pay our bills when we got back home from that convention. After paying for the ticket and the hotel and driving, you know, the distance to get there, we didn't know how we were going to pay our bills when we got home. We worked in jobs that weren't providing the lifestyle that we wanted. Those were the facts of the situation. The facts were my bank account could not support my wife, let alone the growth of a future family. Those were the facts of the situation. I knew at that event, Dream Night, I knew when I caught a dream that the facts really don't count. And so we continued to build and we continued to work. And we were no overnight success. After 2 years of working in home-based business, our biggest month was $300. Our biggest month was $300 after 2 years. But we knew, hey, we knew that had to be a better way. There was some growing and changing that we needed to do. There were some things that we had to accomplish. We needed to, find the right opportunity at the right time with the right team, but also be the right people ourselves. And so we went through more challenges. We went through repossession and foreclosure, and then taking our car and being kicked out of our home, and having utilities cut off. Even as an adult, I never thought that I would experience that as an adult. As a child, you saw how I grew up, but I never thought that would be the reality for my wife when I got married. And there were times where we would go to the gym at my job to work out after work. But the reality was we weren't really there to work out. We just needed to use the locker rooms to take showers because our water was cut off at home. And we had to reach back deep into the pantry to find, canned food to eat until payday. Because we really didn't have even food to feed ourselves while we were building our business, while we were building our dream. And so because we had some dedication, we stuck with it. Fast forward a little bit. I started to get some results, started to get a little bit of success. Here's me, years ago, just sharing that dream. So when you get a dream, you start sharing it with others of what's possible in this profession, what you're doing. So I'm sharing a dream in a small little conference room that I rented out. I rented out, and a handful of people show up, and I would share the dream with them of what I was on the journey of accomplishing for me and my family. And hey, you can come along too. And I was willing to give myself away and share this dream with other people. And doing these presentations and sharing these this dream with people. There will be times where obviously people will say they're going to come and they didn't come. And some people get so discouraged by that. They say the facts are I invite people to take a look at the program and they don't look. The facts are that some people say they're going to get started and they don't get started. The facts are I invited somebody onto the presentation and they didn't even look. And most of you all are building in a new time period now. Back then, there was no Facebook Messenger to just send someone a presentation. There was no YouTube. I'm driving miles. I'm driving across state lines sometimes. I'm driving for hours to go to someone's house. I'm driving across town to get someone started in the business, and they don't even have the decency to open the door and say they changed their mind. I can see them come to the peephole. I can see the shadow get darker, and I'm knocking, and they don't even have the decency to open the door and say they changed their mind. And I got excited. Those were the facts. And I was excited because I realized that I was a different type of person. Most people don't have the accountability. They don't have the fortitude. They don't have the courage. They don't have the character to even do what they said they were going to do. And I started realizing I was different. I was becoming a different person. I was becoming a person who was accountable. I was becoming a person who did have character, who did dream again, who no longer was living a life of quiet desperation and just trying to sedate myself, trying to comfort myself with just pleasures of you know what, it ain't so bad. I'll work this job that I really don't love, but I'll comfort myself with entertainment. I'll drink a beer and watch my TV shows and enjoy a concert every now and then and live for the next big event, the next movie release, next concert, the next time I'm going out with my friends, and I'll just fill my life with enjoyment on the weekends. Right? 5 out of the 7 days of the week, I'll dread my life. And I'll try to fill that void on the weekends with entertainment to comfort myself, to sedate myself. I started realizing I was different, even as I was sharing the dream and the vision with small groups of people. See, some of you all at a place right now where the facts are, your back office is not showing a lot of commissions. The facts are, you don't have a lot of team members. The facts are, you do presentations and 2 or 3 people maybe show up. That's what the facts are. But the facts don't count because what you can't measure is the amount of personal growth you have. See, the facts are I have 3 people that were willing to listen to me at this time. But what you can't see in the picture is the character of who I'm becoming at this time. The mental toughness that I'm developing. Because while some people are complaining about people not showing up when you're building in a digital age and people didn't show up to your Zoom meeting and you're sitting at home. I'm driving across town and I'm paying for this facility. And there were weeks where I would pay and nobody would come, and I would come back the next week and pay again, and I needed the money. I didn't have the disposable income, but I had a dream, I had a vision. As a matter of fact, in that same little building, there was a bigger room. As you can see, I'm not even packing out the little conference room. It's 3 people there. I'm not even filling up the conference room yet, but I'm thinking, wait a minute, there's a bigger room around the corner here. This room could fit more people, and I took a picture of this room. Because the dream was, you know what, one day, I'm not going to be able to fit in this little conference room. One day, I'm going to be over in that bigger room. And because I had the dream, it started to grow. Within a couple of weeks of staying steady, a couple of months of staying steady, we start to pack out even that bigger room. And then over time, guess what? We got to the point where we're doing meetings and there's not enough space on a weeknight. Where we have to bring in extra chairs and there's hundreds of people coming in. And we start after years, right? Not overnight, over time. Not overnight, but over time, we start to get results. But it was because we had that dream. We had that dream. And because we didn't pay attention to the facts of the situation and let that determine what we were going to do. It was going to determine, you know, our action. Our action was going to be determined by our dreams, where we wanted to go versus where we were. Then we started to get results over time. And so things were great. Finally making money. We got to the point where we were starting to make significant income, full-time income. I was able to bring my wife home from working. I didn't hit my goal of doing that before we had any children, but by the time my daughter was 3 years old, my first child was 3 years old, my wife was able to come home from work. Rest of my children have never seen either one of us go work a job for someone else. And we thought, you know what, we made it. Things are great.
¿Saben? La verdad es que lo hicimos
some more facts start to show up.
Hay muchos hechos que empezaron a aparecer también
the opportunity we were with at the time, about the leadership we were around, and it didn't sustain itself.
Veíamos también
so we had to move on and,
liderazgo alrededor de
get involved in
nosotros,
some different
que la gente nos
industries
empezaba a
and some different
seguir.
companies, and we found ourselves at places in a season where we had to move from here to there. Just to get settled a little bit, start to make money again, and realize, you know what, this isn't the right place, and move on somewhere else, and realize, you know what, this isn't the right place. And it got to a point in November of 2015, November 13th, 2015, after making hundreds of thousands of dollars in the profession, after paying the price of going from poverty to some level of success, from poverty to being able to bring my wife home from working a job. This picture I took of myself actually sitting right here in this office in November 13th of 2015. After having made a decision, a very, very difficult decision, I needed to move on from somewhere, and things just weren't going exactly the way they needed to. And at this point, I had the weight of leadership on my shoulders. I had people following me. And it was so weighty, and I took this picture of myself to remember and document. And I gave myself one tear rolling down my cheek. I had so much pressure, so much fear at the moment.
Y tenía tanta presión, tanto miedo en ese momento.
My wife was pregnant at the time.
Estaba embarazada en ese momento.
I had, again, team members, people with incomes that were relying on my leadership and my decision making. And
líderes,
we were in a place that really wasn't good. And I gave myself 5 minutes.
Llegamos a un punto en el que no
I know the facts are that you've trusted some leadership,
James,
and it's led you to a place where they haven't delivered, and that you don't know what's about to happen. And the facts are that you have another child that's about to be born. And the facts are your income is down. And the facts are that other people are relying on you. Those are the facts.
Otras personas están confiando en ti,
but
dependen
you got
de ti,
5 minutes, James, to feel sorry for yourself. You got 5 minutes to sit here and cry. And then after that, you got to get back to dreaming.
Tú puedes tomarte
So that's what I did. I took a picture of myself. I gave myself 5 minutes to just have that emotional release.
Por ejemplo, yo me di 5 minutos para sentir.
And things didn't work out there. Things didn't work out, but about a year later, in August of 2016,
un año después,
my wife and I, we flew down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida,
volamos a Florida
to meet this guy, Yoni Asherah.
Fort Lauderdale.
This guy, Yoni, who had reached out to me about April of 2016. About April of 2016. About 6 months after that be sitting right here with tears rolling down my face, not knowing what I was going to do. He reached out to me in April and talked. And we were having conversations, and I tell you, over 2016, that summer, it was a rough summer for me. You know, my baby girl had been born. Right after we actually had got our income taken away from that opportunity. 3 weeks before my third child was born, and I didn't know what I was going to do that summer. All summer long, I was just hunting. Every single day, I just had to wake up and figure out what I was going to do for money that day.
qué hacer, porque en ese momento no tenía
I
ningún
knew that
desafío,
my
estaba
next move,
casando.
I had to
Todos
be
los
very
días tenía
strategic.
que
I had to
levantarme
make the right
para
next
ver
move.
qué tenía
That
que
was the
hacer para
facts of the
conseguir dinero.
situation. And
Esos eran los
so I had to go
hechos,
see
esa era la
Yoni face to
situación.
face. I had to see him eyeball to
Y yo
eyeball.
dije, tengo que
And
conocer
so
a
I
este
went down to Fort
hombre
Lauderdale,
cara a
Florida. We
cara.
had great
Así
conversation.
que fui hasta
And
Florida,
I
tuvimos
didn't
una
even
gran
have the few
conversación
$100s to get started.
y yo ni siquiera
So I had
tenía
to go
los
to a
dólares
store.
para empezar.
You know, we have pawn shops. I don't know if all of the areas you're listening, if you have pawn shops. It's a store where you can take your belongings and you give it to them and they give you money, but
Porque
it's not sold. They just hold on to it for up to 3 months. They give you 90 days. You got to come and pay the money back
no sé si saben
with
que
some
es
interest,
una casa
and
de
they'll give you your
empeño, pero es un
belongings
lugar
back.
donde tú vas y pones tus bienes,
So I had to take
te
things
dan
to
un
a pawn
dinero
shop
por
just to
X
get the few
tiempo,
$100s
y cuando tú
to
devuelves el
get
dinero te
started.
devuelven tus cosas.
I didn't have the
No es que
money.
me
I
lo
didn't
compres,
ask for the money.
pero realmente yo no tenía el dinero.
Yoni wasn't aware of the level of my financial situation. I shared with him that, you know, things had been a challenge, but it wasn't my conversation with him about, hey, well, can we get started without paying? Or, is there any, I didn't talk to my sponsor about, you know, could he, you know, just, you know, pay for my spot? That wasn't their problem. I said, I'll figure it out. And I took my personal belongings and I had to go to a pawn shop to get a few $100s. That was the facts. After having success, after having built teams into the thousands,
el dinero.
after bring my wife home, after being able to go travel the world some, the facts of the matter was I didn't have a few $100s to get started with a program.
Un equipo bien grande, haber podido permitirle a mi esposa que no
8 different eyeballs in my house that were looking at me.
Después, y ya con 3 hijos, la verdad es que
but we got started, and a week later, Yoni comes up to North Carolina from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to help me, you know, launch this business. The humility of his, you know, service to come, and this was the very first ever meeting that I did.
Esta fue la primera reunión que yo hice.
You don't despise humble beginnings.
Y si tú ves, no se trata de
we got started.
Inicios así super grandes.
And in the first hour of being in the business, we were senior managers. The first day, I believe, 48, 72 hours, but certainly very, very soon thereafter, we were area manager. As a matter of fact, I remember being in the hotel room with Yoni when the Presidential Club was being introduced, as he was showing me right before the convention in Fort Lauderdale in the hotel room. Hey, we're going to introduce the area manager is, you know, part of the Presidential Club, and it's going to be perks. And so, you know, I was able to be one of the very first, my wife and I were the very first ever area managers introduced in the company. And we were able, in our first month in the business, after going to the pawn shop to get the few $100s to get started, we would make over $15,000 our first month in the business. And those results aren't typical, but we're not typical. And I know some of you all aren't typical.
Y no estoy diciendo que eso
so,
sea típico, yo soy
of course,
atípico.
We've been able to go and grow the business since then, and you see what it's led to. We've been able to go and, you know, speak in the stages here at the Grand Rex, as Bill was talking about, and the team has grown. We launched into the international markets. And I want to wrap with this. I want to wrap with a glimpse of what things can be like, what the realization of the dream is. Right? The beginning is January of this year. We put a house under contract. It's actually just, you see, it's just an area of land right now. There's no house. And I want to show you what the dream looks like, because there's a misconception that a lot of people are saying. They're saying that, hey, you know, right now with everything going on, we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. And that's not true. The truth is, we're all going through the same storm, but we're not all in the same boat. We're all in the same storm, but we're not all in the same boat. It's so interesting that the thing that led to this pandemic is COVID-19. They call it COVID-19. What's happening in 2020? COVID-19 in 2020. And the reason that's interesting to me is because in 2020, in the year 2020, and everybody's talking about how tough the year 2020 has been and everything. COVID-19 is not a 2020
El COVID-19
pandemic. Whatever challenge is happening to you is not because of something in 2020.
No es por algo
it's because of 2019.
Es por
Stick
algo
with me
que
for a moment.
sucedió en el
COVID-19.
2019.
What was happening in 2019 determines how you're faring in 2020. What happened in 2019 determines how you're faring in 2020. There were some people, as soon as the pandemic hit, as soon as they couldn't work, for a week, they're in financial catastrophe. A week. That's not a 2020 issue. That's a 2019 issue. What were you doing to prepare yourself for the current climate and situation? See, what happened today didn't happen today. I had to realize this when I was getting bills cut off, when I was struggling, that if the power is cut off today, it wasn't really cut off today. Yeah, they may have came out and hit the button today, but they sent a notice. And they sent a notice after that. And then they changed the color of the envelope. It was a red notice. And they were sending, and so it didn't happen today. There were several things that led up to, yeah, they flipped the switch today, but it didn't happen today. And so if you're in a challenging spot today, it didn't happen today. But the good news is where you are is not who you are. Where you are is a moment that you made in the past. It's an assignment you made in the past to meet your current self. Where you are is not who you are. Where you are is an assignment you made in the past to meet your current self, based off of what you were doing in the past. Based off of what you were doing in 2019 is how you're living your 2020. Right? It's COVID-19. What were you doing in 2019 affects what's going on in 2020. It's not what's happening in 2020. So the good news is what you're doing right now in 2020, regardless of the facts, regardless of what your financial situation is, regardless of how much influence you have right now, regardless of what your back office says right now, what you're doing right now is going to affect how you live in 2021. Right? And so we're not all in the same boat. And fortunately for you, you're in a boat with opportunity. At least you have opportunity in your hands. Some people, it's amazing. They say, oh man, this is not working. I'm going to quit. Quit to what? Quit to nothing. At least you have opportunity in your hand. And so while everybody is talking about, oh, 2020 is so horrible, it's not for everybody. This is January of this year as we put our future house under contract. And you know, fast forward, you know, to March, where we were on the way over to Barcelona for the convention that of course got postponed. We didn't find out about it till we were there, but you know, flying with my family first class, right, in a comfortable seat. This is our 2020, right? Taking my entire family on the trip, waking up every single morning on the top level penthouse, 2-story suite overlooking the Eiffel Tower. Right? And being there for 2 weeks, you know, while I'm in Paris, taking a trip over to London to go see the top motivational speaker in the world. He happened to be over in London at the time. We were in Europe, and I said, well, we could just book a train. Why? Because it's just opportunity that we have positioned ourselves in because of what we did in 2019 and 2018 and 2017, the decision we made in 2016 allowed us in 2020, while everybody else is talking about the pandemic, no, we're going to go to Europe for 2 weeks. And while we're there, we're going to visit Paris, and then we're going to take a trip to London to see the #1 motivational speaker in the world. And we took first class train, you know, from Paris to London. And of course, we got a chance to go, you know, see the sights and go see the palace in London. Matter of fact, we stopped at the London Olympic Stadium because my daughter runs track. She's actually a junior Olympian. And so she got a chance to go run on the track where the 2012 Olympics were. Right? The same track that Usain Bolt ran on. I'm able to give my daughter this experience that she's going to remember for a lifetime. See, I'm not showing you this. It's not about materialistic things. These experiences that
Yo les estoy
it's going to be a
mostrando eso para que
lifetime of
ustedes
memories, right? We're talking
vean
about travel. We're
que
talking
estas
about
son las
collecting memories.
experiencias.
We're talking about life
Es una vida donde
experiences,
tú vas a estar
right? And
coleccionando
so we go from
memorias,
there over to
vas a estar
Barcelona. This is
coleccionando
actually
experiencias
the
de vida.
hotel lobby in
Y este es
Barcelona of
el
where the
lobby
convention is
del
going to be.
hotel
We already had it booked. We were already
decidimos
in the air when the
pasar en
announcement came
Barcelona.
out that
Y lo reservamos cuando
the
estábamos
convention was
volando.
postponed to later in the year.
Cuando
But I can tell you, I
recibimos
saw the venue firsthand. It's incredible.
el anuncio de que la
It's going to
convención
be an
de marzo
absolute
se había
blast.
pospuesto.
So we got a chance to
Pero la
go
verdad
ahead
es
and
que
go
me
to
siento
Barcelona and again
bastante
and go to the
bendecido
Olympic Stadium in
de tener
Barcelona.
esta oportunidad y
Where
también
they
fuimos al
held
Estadio
the
Olímpico de
92
Barcelona.
Olympics. And my daughter got a chance again to be able to collect those experiences. And we went back to Paris after leaving Barcelona. We were there for 2 weeks with my family on my birthday.
Y nos fuimos también
we went indoor skydiving.
Experiencia de
and my wife went indoor skydiving. There's a country song that says, "Live like you were dying."
Y la verdad es que esto es vivir
says,
como si te fueras a morir.
It talks about how would you live if you knew you were dying.
¿Cómo vivirías tú tu vida si te fueras a morir?
Skydiving and horseback
Por ejemplo,
riding.
yo digo, wow, yo tengo
Talks
que
about all these
hacer
different things, and it says, one day I hope you get the chance to live like you're dying.
Y yo la verdad espero que un día puedas tener la posibilidad de tener esa vida como si te fueras a morir.
Instead of living.
Y
so we're living our dreams,
mucha gente que pasa la vida
go to my favorite restaurant, Champs-Élysées.
Pero no viviendo la vida
champagne for my birthday as we're overlooking Eiffel
y
Tower.
fuimos
My
también
birthday
a
was
un
on March 13th,
restaurante
and so
y también compré una botella de champaña por mi cumpleaños para celebrar con mi familia.
I'm getting updates on my home being built. I'm getting updates on the home being built. Why? Because before we left, the foundation was laid. And so some of you all have heard me talk about in this business in the beginning, it's work, and then you get a check. And then it's work, check. Then it's work, check.
Y lo único que funciona en este negocio ya lo saben, que al principio es trabajar.
And so while we're on this 2-week trip, see that work
trabajas, cheque. Luego trabajas, cheque,
is laying the foundation.
Trabajas, cheque, y al final,
once the foundation is laid, the rest of it can go up
los fundamentos
a lot faster.
O las bases
a
que
lot
tenemos
faster
que
without
construir
your
de nuestro
involvement.
Negocio.
See, we had to actually pick out everything for the home before we left. We had to go and pick what we wanted our floors to be like and what we wanted our cabinetry to be like and what we wanted. We had a dream in our mind. Stay with me.
Casa.
We had a dream in our mind of what we wanted to look like. We had to lay the foundation. Everything financially we had to do to lay the foundation.
Y con eso
we had to do to prepare our life
cimientos
to lay the foundation. And then they literally laid the foundation.
Y esa visión fue lo que hizo que pudiéramos construir literalmente
so we come back and of course we're working and we're doing presentations and we're still building the business and taking action and everything is growing. And the whole time, guess what? The house is being built. The house is being built.
Mientras yo trabajaba, la casa también se seguía construyendo.
Because the foundation has been laid.
Porque las
until we got to the point where now
we're
closing on this home and we're in the process of moving, literally next week.
Esta es la casa.
Next week we're moving into the dream space that we envisioned months ago and years ago.
Espacio que nosotros hemos estado
and I'm sharing this with you.
Construyendo meses atrás,
not to impress
yo les muestro esto,
but to
no para
impress upon you
a ustedes,
that when your dream is big enough, the facts don't count.
Cuando tus sueños son
This is
grandes, los
the
hechos
office
no
that I'll be, coming to you from on future presentations with the coffered ceilings, the hardwood flooring throughout. Being able to design our home because we had a dream in our mind, despite what the facts were, that we got our income taken away three weeks before my third child was being born. Despite the facts that I grew up on government assistance.
A pesar de los hechos
despite the fact
en ese momento que tomé la decisión,
I started off with a college degree and still making $10 an hour.
A pesar de que yo recibí
despite the fact that after 2 years and working in this business, my biggest month was $300. 3,300 square feet. And again, it's not just about the material, it's about the experience. I want you to take a look at my wife's reaction. For any man, like, imagine what it would be like to be able to give your wife the home of her dreams. Look at her. How would it feel to be able to see your family, have this experience after being loyal and sticking with you for so many years of challenge, right? But it all started here. It all started here. In this house. Until we got a dream at dream night. And we went through the roller coaster of adversity and the journey of building a business and the heartache and the tears. And so what I want you to understand is that when I say if the dream is big enough, the facts don't count, it's for one very simple reason. The reason why the facts don't count if the dream is big enough is because if the dream is big enough, the facts will change. If the dream is big enough, the facts don't count, because if the dream is big enough, the facts will change. All of those facts that I shared with you throughout the way, they changed because I changed. The facts of my bank account have changed. The facts of my business have changed. The facts of my influence has changed. The facts of my education has changed. The facts of my skill set, of my knowledge, of my work ethic, of my value, my ability to produce. The facts of my back office have changed. And I'm just a normal person that made a decision to no longer live a normal lifestyle. And so, regardless of where you are right now, regardless of the facts of your 2020, regardless of the facts of your bank account, regardless of the facts of your back office, if the dream is big enough, the facts don't count. Because if the dream is big enough, the facts will change. So with that, I just want to say I look forward to seeing you all at one of the future life experiences, one of our future international conventions where you're really going to catch a dream. But most of all, I look forward to seeing you at the top, because the bottom is way too crowded. That's my time. I'll see you on the journey.
La vamos a romper y espero verlos en el camino.